I missed that. What race?
It was just lucky because I don't know some so it's kind of easy, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I figure we'll just rap. We'll just talk what we see, and it'll work out well for everybody, you know? Oh, you can call me artistic. It's artistic genius, but just call me artistic. Yeah, yeah, and not autistic. Artistic, as an artist. Okay, artistic. Yeah. Oh yeah, wow. That is terrifying, because I tell you, this track is frightening enough when it's fully dry. I don't know it at all. I'm barely learning the thing, and it has definitely been more error than not in the trial, you know. And I know they were putting up tier 1 and 2. They were putting up around, I think tier 1 put up 126, a mid 126 in dry, and I believe it was around a mid 127 for tier 2 in dry. So I'm thinking, I don't know, in the wets here, we might lose, man, we're going to lose quite a bit of seconds from that. I was thinking we were probably going to initially be about maybe 2 seconds off the tier 2 pace, but it's going to go down significantly more than that in the rain.
Indeed, and the bottom of the game just has that hit there. Actually broke his already, so easy to change that. Just putting in chat, can you hear game for them? I can't hear it myself, just if you can.
I can hear a little something in the background, but not really, not a lot. Like I can hear my voice on the back end if that's coming from the TV, but I can't hear an awful lot. And I can imagine where to be driving this course in real life under these conditions out there in Miami, Florida. Now, growing up in California, I had heard of humidity, but I didn't know what it was. I kept meaning to look into it, but it never got enough of it for me to really get around to it. And then I moved to Texas. I was like, oh my God. And then by the time I got to Missouri, you know, between Texas and Missouri, I kind of understand what humidity means, but nowhere near compared to how they deal with it in Florida. So dealing with that type of rain and it's probably just so muggy. I can imagine the drivers in those cars would be miserable. Absolutely miserable.
Wait, so it's actually careful on that throttle and that steering and puts it not to go too wide and swings it in left-hander, pulls it around yet again, straight back on the power, full throttle, first sector. Onto the flash, accelerates all the way down first straight. Big straight. 3 DRS. 2 DRS.
I believe there's 3, and it's a really big track too. What is it? 308 kilometers. But let me get this. Let me pull this. How many DRS sections we got? 3 DRS sections. 1 in section 1. Actually, there's 2 in section 1, and the third one is in section 3.
Yes, down the straight so long, incredibly long. So expect fantastic rotation, especially since after the third and final zone track, we've got a very tight left-hand haircut, which is really precarious, and especially on that exit. Very careful. Don't light up those rear tyres. That's even since the first time. 39.9. Then Matty D McLaren tops it with a 39.0.
Yo, Kevo was my first Prospects teammate back in season 1. He did whoop me. I'm yet to beat a teammate. Dang it. Yeah.
That just wasn't the game sound popping up. It's a bit of a big concern, but that makes sense. Look at this Ferrari. Oh, coming to the line. He goes P7 46.4. Now low 38. Best. About 8 tenths clear of D and the McLaren. Great bogus with the yellow flag in that second sector.
It was a McLaren. Might have been Maddie. No, it couldn't have been Maddie.
I think it was the it's already spun twice so far. Go with the Haas so it's just the next second first sector. Straight line. This game, one thing I found especially is if you do light up those rear tyres and have a bit of a snap, a bit of a slide, you'll really struggle on the exit a lot more than in previous games. So it's really important to keep that rear end straight, especially in wet conditions where you do slide it quite a big one. And the purple section of the foil is showing that it's a
I'll tell you this. I don't enjoy driving in the rain, but looking at these cars in the rain with the raindrops beating up on them, that is freaking amazing. Over the halo, really, really beautiful graphics in these cars.
And actually, the range of burger because previous best 37.9. Certainly be his current confidence in that Alpine way as a final hair for this evening now enter final corner, quite interesting shape to this final corner, quite fun to drive, so trying to do spin round it as well as up to line, and it's only a 40.1 that first sector, pretty much the those are past sector. Drivers yes, you said it last time, so 2 drivers now. So that time, but
Yeah,
more last driver actually out on the track because yes, on the side, which is the next slight rain. That's just a bit too. This kind of circuit goes almost water. Ever such precision and smoothness, just within the track limits, without that rear end stepping out. Oh wait, he's actually passed that last time. He's just in two, although we'll definitely go that time.
He's a half a second up. He's a half a second up right now. Well, Lucifer's gonna come out in the softs. That had to be a mistake. Lucifer, what are you doing, my friend? What the heezy? But he can't. Okay. But he's still in the pit. He's yet to come out. So he might yet make another change there, because that is awfully risky. Because the rain is still coming down pretty hard.
It's far too early to switch on to those dry compound tyres. No, perhaps he's waiting for the track to maybe evolve a bit. Some of the drivers to clear some standing before he goes into its full potential.
There is a small groove being created, but not much of one. I think this is going to be like one of those circuits that if you're really comfortable with it, you're going to have a major advantage over your competitors compared to people who are just typically race to race or just really kind of consistent with most tracks. But then you hit tracks like this one or Singapore or Monaco that are just an aberration to everything else. It's like, okay, can you perfect this track? And this one's going to be really tricky, not just because of the rain, but just the whole infrastructure of the track is really very difficult.
Yeah. There's a whole mixture. High-speed corners, there's a big snap show actually coming out there. The mixture of high-speed corners, slow, tricky corners, especially that chicane on the highway on all the parts, is
brutal.
Very difficult. As shows us very wide there, really struggling to find where he actually validates his time by doing it. I think that's
kind of. I'm looking at him in an AlphaTauri. That reminds me, I seen a video earlier today with Max Verstappen and Yuki Tsunoda driving backwards in a race against each other. Yuki was crashing into walls and whatnot, and that's AlphaTauri there. As I flipped the channel, I couldn't help but fall out of my chair laughing. It was hilarious. Not typically a Max viewer, but I did watch a portion of that video.
Yes, Yuki's face after was like, oh dear, what have I done?
Oh, you seen that? Yeah, it was hilarious. He's like, I'm so sorry. Yuki.
And some crazy action being held a bit by the AlphaTauri, I think, through that tight chicane. It's very difficult to get right in the clean air, the dirty air, and behind another driver. Straight. So now, the line. Right, he hasn't through by about 9 tenths.
Looks like Shahabit.
Yes, the AlphaTauri he was joining some in the rain. Especially for traction control of the difficulty of your performance.
Out of control. I think you'll probably find a mixed combination of people who may go from no traction to medium traction in this particular tier. And what they've just recently done with all the tire pressures and the updates, it's really tricky as to what to do with the tires when they're heating up too much, when there's too much air in them. I really haven't got that part of the game down yet.
Yeah, it's very frustrating now when they change it so much.
That was beautiful. Flying, yes she is.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating when you learn one thing to do something and then you change and relearn something different. It's almost like having a new game pretty much every single month. Just bring out this update, but
can he get pole?
seconds off.
Boy.
1.5 seconds up. He's actually continued with a 37.959. Fantastic effort from the AlphaTauri driver.
Man, watching him fly through that second section there, it was like when you see somebody else drive this track, it's a beautiful track indeed, you know?
Watching F1 nerd just coming to the line now. He said he's 34.
Absolutely one of the cooler nicknames too, by the way. One of the cooler PSN names, shall I say. F1 nerd. Yeah, that's pretty big.
Just started his flight after he is towards the end of that first sector. So we can see he's improved by down this time. He improved by about 10 minutes per through that first sector. I think he's going to go over a vision to PP1. Just definitely beneficial to his race start. 3 minutes left on the clock. So probably enough time for a couple of laps. Maybe not to hit maybe a couple of straight ramps on the track. It's actually quite a common strategy is the Aston Martin almost gets in the way a bit at the chicane. Which Aston Martin
So we're still waiting on Lucifer to come out and set a lap. He's got about 3 minutes.
Very last second set.
He's coming out now. He's coming on out. Lucifer is. I think he must have wanted to use those softs because typically in quali he's normally one of the first people to go out to try to kind of get comfortable out there. He'll come back in and watch everybody, then maybe go back out towards the end. But this time he waited till the last minute, so it's going to be interesting to see what he does.
And that's Ego's P1 with 37.8. He only improved by about 2 tenths, about a centimetre to the top of the lead. He's on how he is on tyres. Perhaps he was gambling once, so maybe some soft at the end of the session. As anticipated, looks like PCM garbage man on a flying lap. He's just entering first sector with 7 minutes up on his time. Should help him a few places, possibly get to keep 10 to keep his arms improved just a bit more through the middle sector is pretty much straight and a couple of tight chicanes.
It seems as if they want to make up some time, the second section is the place you really have to do it and just go flat out. Either the second section there or you get a chance to make up a little difference on that long straightaway in section 3, but you gotta hit that turn right. Turn 17 can just ruin the whole race.
Especially with the way these cars work and how difficult, how awesome these exits are. And look at that, 1 second up from garbage man, a purple middle sector. Running low downforce is extremely beneficial around Miami, considering those two pretty much straight. He's got to avoid the Aston Martin drivers to avoid the PPQ up to start their lap. With only a minute of the session remaining, we're going to see people crossing the line left, right, and centre as garbage man crosses the line.
You know, I would say this has been an amazing quality. This is the first one we've had all week long in the wet, and we haven't lost a single driver. I almost spoke too soon, but we haven't lost a single driver.
Garbage man spinning round, towering round. I believe that was.
Yeah, but the garbage man. Garbage man looked like he might have got spent there in the Aston Martin. I just picked him up a little late. He was pulling off. He may not have been in spin. He might have been getting out of someone's way, but he was there for a second as I pulled up. All right, Luke was trying to get that out lap started. I mean that hot lap started. His final attempt, qualifying on the bottom of game and close to F1 that was there, and Wallace, those were their final times.
coming around the final flashing Kevo comes into the pit lane. Looks like Berger has just come across the line and Sessi 37.3. That puts him on provisional pole position. Can Matty Dean say anything about that? He's about 2 tenths up. That's not quite be enough though, as he comes to the line and it's only 37.6. Well, 3 tenths off Rage Berger in P1. Bits of balance is his time. He's got nothing to answer for it. Sinister Crazy is about 4 tenths up on his current time, bumping all over that curve in that final chicane. He's accelerating down along the pit straight, about 3 tenths up. Now, it's not quite going to be enough to dispatch of Matty D, but it might just about be enough. The D-hole goes with P3, it might be enough to get Showbits before he comes around that front chicane, winds up that final corner.
Did we lose Showbits? In the pit? Okay.
Does display Showbits and goes forward. Just trying to see if there's anyone else on the lap. I think Gazza pans the line, that was his final effort. So everybody slow line. So Berger takes P1, followed by Matty D. To take pole in a wet session in Miami, well behaved by everyone. No
absolutely.
Maybe an action, a crash, and brilliant effort. Quite close to as well. So this could be quite an interesting race. Of course,
you want to read?
We will have quite a different order of pace. Some people are in the wet, some people dry.
Yeah, so who we got? We got Berger, Matty, and D-Hawk at the podium position so far, and we got Simster, Shohats, F1 Nerd rounding out the top 6 crew steamers, Bottle Job Gaming, Pulaski, Dom War, Cobbler's, Lucifer 12, Kevo, and I did not catch what was coming on down in the bottom end there. I absolutely apologize for that. Let's see, can I get it from this other screen? Nope, I missed it.
Web's going to be, if anything's racing in chat, could give us a sneak preview, which would be amazing. So racing around Miami, that first sector can cause quite the difficulties when racing at high speed, reflecting drive for the race.
Ooh, that helps.
So what that might have meant actually is a lot of drivers might have actually went for a dry setup and qualify to avoid of course the race pace being slow, as the races where points are the points scored. So naturally you would dry setup for a dry race, sacrifice your qualifying.
To some degree, I've almost wondered, is race pace is important as racecraft on this particular circuit? Because it seems like, you know, the fastest doesn't necessarily last the longest. We have a lot of there's been quite a few times of half the grid being gunned by the end of the race. So, well, we'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, so the outlap around Miami, quite a long one, and taking a look at times. Everybody is on. So, Berger, the top 3, all on medium compound of tyres. It's crazy to take on the hards early on in the race. Showbits also on the medium. F1 Nerd and Crew Streamers and Bottle Gaming also selecting those hard compound tyres.
That seems, from what I've seen, that seems to be the preferred tire on this particular circuit. But they almost seem to take 2 or 3 laps to really get fully up to speed. So I've seen some mediums really get the jump on those hards to start a lap and go a lot further than would be expected, and are able to outlast the hards. But the hards seem to be the more popular choice throughout the tiers so far this week.
And Kevo decided to go on to the softs. Interesting. You see how his start goes. The nature of this circuit, the high-speed corners, does pretty much indicate those softs are going to go off pretty early on, which could be catastrophic for his racing. Then Garbage Man will start, and then Gazmo Pan also on hard, and his drivers deciding on those hards.
It seems like if they're able to really kind of nurse those tires a little bit, you might be able to get 9 to 10 laps out of them. But if you're racing them hard, I would say 6 to 7. So he's probably going to try to make a move on someone really quick, you know, get a couple spaces, switch to those hards, and then ride it out the rest of the way.
Well, if he can get lots of places and then the safety car comes out and he can get on the hards, and everyone else is on the older tyres, but they can't hit because they're on the hards, and it would be catastrophic for their racers to hit from hards to a different tyre that early on. He could be in a really good position should the safety car play into his hand. If it doesn't, he might struggle then.
And once again, a lot of these guys are familiar with each other, so they're going to be able to race hard, knowing that they know the other person next to them and how the other person races, so they'll know when to back off and when to push. It's going to be interesting.
So, already lined up a couple of people deciding he was good to place a bump at the start. So then, we have 5 red lights. And away we go for the Miami Grand Prix here in Tier 3. Looks like a good start for Matty D. He's already ahead of Berger into turn 1. He's going to try steam around the outside. The Haas getting pushed a bit wide there. So it looks like Simpson Crazy is down in position. So too is Berger's there crashing in the background.
Yeah, look. Well, yeah, damage.
This section looks like the Aston Martin going wheel to wheel with the AlphaTauri, gaining a couple of positions there.
Right off the bat. Yeah, he really came storming. I was anticipating some type of accident back there because he came on that edge so quick, like no one even seen him there. You looked up, he gained 2 or 3, 4 positions. I was like, wow. And then by the time I got my camera on him, it was kind of over. But man, really great start.
So big loser there, bottom job gaming down from the position already. Kino not making the impact, almost a collision there between Mr. Shahid and bottom job gaming. Slamming on the brakes was the Alfa Romeo driver just to avoid what has happened in front then. So look, I think it looks like philosophy trying to attack Simster Crazy, who himself is really on the back of F1 nerd. Simster Crazy thinks about the move, it's a bit too late to do so. Philosophy tries to go the long way around, but doesn't quite have the grip to do so. Matty D then still leading away. D-Hog is wheel to wheel with Berger in the background. D-Hog steep around the outside of Berger, who is down 2 positions on the first 2 laps. Not the ideal start for the Alpine driver after such a stellar qualifying. In the race, falling back just a little bit. Looks like Simpson the Crazy and Philosophy still going at it there. About 2 tenths separate these 2 drivers. The Aston Martin on the medium, so it's going to have a lot more pace off the line compared to the Red Bull. But the Red Bull still holding firm and keeping that position.
Yeah, Simpson Crazy and F1 Nerd almost had a little fender bender back there around turn 15, but you know, F1 got up a little bit ahead of him, and I thought they'd mix it up a little bit more around turn 17, but F1's just really taking off from here. He's up about 4/10 of a second on Simpson, who's hard on his heels, being chased by Pulaski. Quite an exciting race so far.
It looks like Berger actually has got back past decog and is trying to make ground, although the gap to the leader is 2.5 seconds. That's indeed
colossal.
Fantastic job there. And look at this battle that's brewing yet again. Decog making the move this time on Berger, those down around the outside. Berger, ooh, the AlphaTauri of Showbit steaming into the back there.
Yeah, that was rough. He almost made contact. It looked like he broke a little bit late. Broke a little late, but he was able to recover.
Could have been catastrophic. There, this battle is going on in the back between Bottom Job Gaming around that P10 region. Crucial just got past Kravolis actually. Crucial is not having the greatest of getaways, down 5 places already.
Yeah, he's not off to one of his better starts, but he's one of those kind of drivers that he rarely ever gives you any type of penalties. So as long as he can keep his race clean, if he's on those hards, he's got a chance to fight back up in there.
And Gaston Pal actually, I think, had spun round in the first sector, possibly attack with the wall. No visible damage on that Mercedes, but he could still have a bit of damage as well. Just like further upwards, battling down here, Mornstar and Garbage Man also battling, both with the DRS active. So eRacing is going to play a big part in who can win this fight, and it's actually further ahead. Very close battling between the guys in front. Another yellow flag.
Oh, another spin. Cabo spin.
And Cruise Dreamers. They've had a bit of an incident there. I think perhaps a bit of a rear tyre touching has occurred, and that has led to that spin. No safety cars. Kivo actually takes a 5-second penalty for corner cutting.
Cabo, stop it! You're on the south. Stop it!
He's absolutely monstrous. That chicane, and it's actually, look at this for P5. Showbit actually is dropped back a little bit. He's actually after the incident, DRS is active. He's going to defend hard to the outside. A wing or a wheel cannot be poked in from Polosvi, but he's still going to attack the AlphaTauri into that first sector. He's going to be squeezed out just a bit and backs out, and then almost makes contact with him.
Pulaski. Oh my goodness!
Him just a little bit wide, which hasn't compromised him too much, but going too wide into battle might open him up. Because Simpson Crazy behind he was trying to regain some of those positions that he did lost, of course, but also he has moved up to his positions.
You can tell that there's not a lot of comfort on this track. I'm seeing a lot of late braking points from people who aren't typically late breakers. So it's like they're trying to read the track and each other at the same time, but they're doing a great job of somewhat staying out of each other's way. Really. Great racing.
Yeah, indeed, great, nice clean racing so far. Not too many incidents last week. We had quite a few crashes towards the end of Japan. But Japan a bit more of a difficult circuit. It looks like that's Kivo actually. Yes, it is just coming out of the pit lane on cold tyres. Moving back to this battle now, shows DRS active on F1 in front. Quite close enough as they come to the braking zone.
Yeah, I thought I seen F1 Nerd scrape a wall too, but the way he's on Berger's behind there, I don't mean it to that degree, but on his gearbox, I don't think that he suffered any damage if he did indeed scrape that wall, because he's on that Haas.
He's still just about ahead of Showbit, and actually Velocity has actually dropped a little bit. He's actually outside of the DRS range, coming down that back straight, regained that gap now. And he's inside the window to get overtakes. DRS is quite as powerful as in the previous game, which is nice as you can actually defend from attacks. There's another game that you previously quite struggled to. So the battle is really again easing up a bit as DRS is actually active for Showbit. It looks like he might try and make a move there. It's not quite close enough. There is a bit of a tap on the back of F1 Nerd. There wasn't a bit of contact, they got ever so close together.
A little like that. You know, that turn right there, turn 15, I don't know how it happened. I'm yet to see an accident there. Because for me, that is the most difficult part of this whole circuit. Just getting through turns, 14 through 16 right there is just brutal. 13 through 16.
Showbit has picked up that 3 second time penalty, but he is actually made the overtaking work. this time on F1 mode, and is ahead of the Haas, and will be trying to hunt down Berger if he has got the pace to do so, because he is on the mediums, which is really going to help his early pace here as well as taking 3 seconds.
3 second penalty.
Wow. So, to gap as a leader, Matty maintaining that 2.8 second gap over D behind. He's doing a good job in the McLaren so far, although D was quite tempted to be eRacing in reserve, about 40%, about 30%. Matty, although his pace is significantly slowed down, as Berger is almost in that 1 second window. Berger's not quite been able to pull the gap that he might have wanted on F1 line, although F1 line himself will be under some big pressure from Alonso is out of the second from the Red Bull behind, although this battling might cost him a bit of time and allow Dennis to get back into the fray of battling, making the exact time of gaming, has just got past Domore actually and moved back into where he started on the grid as they head tight chicane where you bump and jump your F1 car. So quite consistent in real life.
Yeah, and seeing Lewis Hamilton fly through the air this weekend, hey, I had to turn the channel. I said, alright, I'm done. I'll catch the replay on YouTube or something, okay? I just couldn't take it.
Although we went a little bit wide on the exit, he's going
good pass.
Allow Domhnall to get back through. Although Lewis Fischer is going to try and attack again, coming down this pit straight. DRS is active for one of these drivers, and Lewis Fischer is going to maintain P10. Temporarily up to P9 to try again. Oh,
what the heck?
Domhnall.
Oh, Domhnall spins. Oh my goodness gracious.
He reverses across the track because Ghosting on. So actually Suzuki in the end hasn't made up that position, probably not the way he would have wanted to, but he is in that position. Nonetheless, moving back up the field there, Philosophy actually on the attack from F1 line was dropped far outside the DRS. Showbiz in front and looks like down the inside of a fairly easy overtake there for Philosophy. And look at this, actually quite wide for F1 though. That might allow Simpson Crazy to get back through and gain those positions that he lost on the start. He was down 3 places, which is quite unfortunate for him who really wanted to make some progress. Look at of the rods, DRS active, however, no absence of Crazy. Though Simpson Crazy seems to have that better pace, he's got a much better exit as he's becoming thought about going down the inside, but wasn't quite close enough to slam on brakes. That actually allowed Battle Job Gaming to close up just a bit more. This is turning into quite a battle at the front. Berger unable to close that gap too deep, down too much more. Yeah, this train of 4 cars here fighting for P5.
Yeah,
is really allowing the top 4 to run away with it.
Trouble, another 3 second penalties. Penalties are starting to mount up a little bit, close to just a little bit over a third of the way through the race.
And Garbage Man in the Aston Martin actually has just had a little spin and dropped down a couple of positions as such. So just out of interest to what penalty difference are.
I wonder if
3 seconds for Wallace and also 3 seconds for Showbiz as well.
I wonder if it was an advantage for Lucifer not to have had many laps during the rainy qualifying time. So when he came back out here in the dry, I'm sure most of the laps that he raced in preparation for this race was on the dry. So he didn't have to adjust too much to the wet before starting the race in dry. He can keep it in the same mentality, and he's climbing up the grid right now.
Indeed, and also Battle Gaming is trying to make him on Simster, although the DRS Haas is making that
quite there's contact!
Round, almost a half spin there from Simster Gaming. That was
Simster and Bottle Job Gaming and Simster. Yeah, the stewards are going to have to look at that one.
Pretty much unavoidable there. Considering it looks like D-Hog's round. D-Hog's spun round. Driver in position 2. It looks like we've got full yellows. I think that's a full safety car actually.
Yeah, D-Hog doesn't have any wings right now.
He's lost his front wings, so that is indeed a full safety car out on the track. Just to see who can fall behind that safety car. Yeah, there is a full safety car for that incident then.
So
it's very quick.
So do any of our leaders blink and pit right now?
We're on lap 9. They are all on the mediums. So it might be an advantage for them to take a gamble and take 20 laps on the hards if they can maintain it. It might be a gamble.
It can be done.
Yeah, indeed, it can be done. We've seen it. I think last time out, we saw safety car taking quite long with his hard contest.
So we'll just have to see.
These drivers do. Indeed, point gap. Yes, he's doing a fantastic job.
Alright, Kevo's coming out in the mediums.
Yeah, Kevo's not had the greatest of races so far. His strategy is just not necessarily a strategy's fault.
It was kind of feast or famine. Just looking at the strategy coming out of those softs is like, hey, he's got to just basically go for broke or his curtains, and it just didn't work out.
The leaders are in. Everybody here is on the mediums pretty much into the pit lane now for fresh, hard, compound tyres. I think actually everyone into pits.
Interesting.
Everybody, even the ones who are on hards, but they're going to have to stop again, the drivers on hards.
Yeah.
Because you do have to change dry compound tyre compound. Unless we do see some rain later on the weather, I highly doubt that. So, everybody pretty much on the hard, on new fresh hards, apart from F122 to a game that seems to crazy, and Nordstar.
I think we've seen those. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Frustrations also deciding not to pit. A couple of actually drivers going to the mediums, Bravolis, Garbage Man, and Kivo. But Gazman's Pat decided to stick to his as well.
So it's almost pretty much the midfield has taken over the lead of the race. We're going to see who's going to be able to fight their way back to the top here.
Yeah, indeed, pretty much. F1 was leading that battle for P4. Takes the spot for Matty D. Goes back down to P4, of course. He is on fresh tyres and does not actually have to pit it yet. Whereas another safety car will be extremely beneficial to the drivers in front. And considering Stewart first safety car very quickly, we might see that again. So I reckon the safety car will come in next lap. Kivo and Gazman's Plan and Garbage Man have got quite a way to go as they're actually in that middle sector at that moment. Still making their way around to the back of the snaky queue. This race so far has been very exciting. Quite a lot of action has been happening.
Especially with so little collisions.
Yeah, indeed, very clean racing, which is the main thing to see.
And we've had one of our cooler grids too, because this week I think it's been a lot. Personally, I'm just outside looking in. My race isn't until tomorrow. It looks like there's been a lot of intimidation on this Miami track, because typically we have full grids, and we have not had full grids this week. So are that many people involved in that many off-track things right now? Well, it could be. Or it could be that no one wanted to deal with Miami the same way people run from Monaco.
So, Gazman's Plan actually switching to... He switched from I think he just literally his tyres. They're showing his hard to 4 laps old despite the fact he's just coming out of the pit. So another interesting F1 game glitch there. So Gas apparently won't trim any of his tyres, which isn't ideal. So that's a mechanic. Yes, you join the snake here. Might next lap now, especially since it's young pan. Just enter that second sector. So it's quite a ways to go before they reach the safety car. Just about do it.
Well, it looks like Delta's allowing him to keep a decent amount of speed up. That's so frustrating when you get back there sometimes. Whenever you start speeding up, that Delta tell you to slow down, slow down. You're like, wait, what are you talking about? They're way up there, you know?
Yeah, sometimes it does that. So yes, it is going to be that 12 safety car comes in for 13. Lead us away. It's crazy. Safety car was for Hog's incident. He had a spin in the first sector at the start of it when he exited and lost his front wing. So the track was very quick. Quite unnecessary one as well, and that has just changed
the camp, everything. Well, we had something similar like that yesterday when the quali setter, the post setter, went from P1 to, I believe P12. By the end of the first lap, she had a spin out and it just never could recover. So, sometimes that definitely changes the canvas. It's like, what is happening here? But you got a lot of guys out here that are used to winning races. I see some fast people out here that are used to beating a lot of folks. So, there's plenty of people out here that can give us a competitive win right now,
Indeed. Entirely depends actually on when my second safety car comes out, as it could have. On my screen, there's a bit of a pause there that happened, and it looks like I have a bit of a crash with bottle job, where that's just a glitch in the game. But yeah, so of course, the safety car, but yeah, it does very much depend on what happens to the future safety car.
Picture farther in his lap. And I've noticed too, as a lot of people get closer to each other during the safety car, I kind of wonder if people are pausing their car during the safety car. That happens, but all the while you are responsible if your car hits somebody. So be aware that don't trust your computer. Do not trust the AI of your car to drive for you, because it will not do a good job under the most strenuous of circumstances. That might be the AC guy. Hold on 1 second. Yep, 1 second please.
And indeed everybody trying. It looks like actually F1 Nerd has already bolted off the line, caught quite a few drivers napping. That's allowed him to maintain his current position. Simster Crazy under a bit of pressure from Matty D behind. He had some fantastic pace earlier on in the race and is now already trying to make that overtake happen. As we've got yellows in sector 1, Crew Streamers I think is actually round, as Matty D's actually made that overtake on Simster Crazy already and is already back into the podium position. Fantastic restart from him. Gasmore Pan actually might have had a collision with Crew Stars, not too sure what's happened there. We'll see some footage later on that will let us review that. But yeah, indeed, Simster Crazy now picking up a 3-second time penalty. Is under huge pressure from both Showbits and Rageburger behind. Almost 3 wide coming into the hairpin section. Looks like Showbits has made the move on Simster. So too has Rageburger. He's pinned to the inside and has absolutely nowhere to go. On the exit through the tight chicane he comes. He's already down quite a few places. Those old tyres proving very difficult to control, especially compared to these guys on pretty much fresh tyres, especially as they've just come out of a safety car. He might have not quite got his tyres up to temperature as much as he wanted to, although Showbits actually has dropped off from Matty D already, who looks like he is already attacking the leaders. Look at this in the background. D-Hog trying to make a move. He looked like he might have actually been a bit too ambitious and lost that position again as Mordstar tries to defend from his. D-Hog dives to the inside, hard on the brakes, although it might not quite be late enough. Is he's going to try and hang it round the outside? The exit wasn't quite as good as Mordstar's was, and that is going to allow D-Hog to unfortunately remain in P8, even though now he's actually under a bit of pressure from Palolsi behind in the Aston Martin, who has been doing fantastically this race so far. Of course, he pitted for the safety car, and he is attacking the Ferrari. They are both on pretty much equal tyres, so it's pretty much all to play for there in terms of the position. And yeah, that safety car restart, we saw a bit of an incident, I think, between Gasmore Pan as F1 Nerd gets overtaken for the lead. A bit of a lead battle going on here. F1 Nerd regaining it, coming around the loop and through the chicane, of course. No overtakes being made there. Would be pretty much impossible to overtake through that section of the track. Is a big snap from Showbits coming out there. That's gonna really, he's gonna really struggle coming down the pit straight. Although maybe it was just a pull out to the outside, but Bottle Job Gaming going down the inside, coming into the hairpin. Looks like F1 Nerd trying to stick with him around the outside. He's going to be pushed wide and into the wall. Bottle Job Gaming, they made some contact with him and F1 Nerd. Just coming out of the hairpin, just not enough space at all. And now Bottle Job is going to be swallowed up by these guys down in P7, P8. And actually D-Hog's past Bottle Job as well. Bottle Job trying to go back down the inside of D-Hog, and that move has been made again. Mordstar and Sinister Crazy, the teammates, also in a bit of a battle here. Sinister still trying to defend from Polosvi. F1 behind the Aston Martin, really trying to find a way around as DRS was just enabled this lap. So a bit of an incident in the back as it looks like Bottle Job Gaming has spun it round. Yes, he has. Crazy stuff happening, and that has completely changed the fabric of the races. Matty D is back into the lead, and F1 Nerd down to P4, and he is still on those old tyres as Lucifer Shahid gets overtaken or tries to go down, steaming down the inside, but doesn't quite have the space to do so. Is looking further up. Mordstar still trying to attack D-Hog and simultaneously defend from his teammate behind. The pace that Sinister Crazy has, he really needs to make this overtake if he wants to progress even further in the race. Both actually on 14 lap old hards. They're doing a fairly good job to defend from those guys that are on the fresher tyres behind. People looking for a move down the inside. Goes Simster Gaming on his teammate, a suicidal dive bomb, and that was crazy move from Simster. He went for it, and that's cost him massively. He's now under huge pressure from Polosvi. Polosvi round the outside. He's going to try and hold it later on the brakes, and he's going to swing to the outside to cover off Simster's overcut. Wow, that was a bold move, and that really hasn't paid off. He's actually lost the position and might have actually given his teammate or himself damage. Not too sure if there was damage there, as Mordstar takes a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Wow, that kicked off awfully fast in the back there. Looking actually further towards the front, Berger is making an attack on Showbits now. He's going to try go round the outside. That outside is going to become the inside, and then he goes back round the outside again. He's going to try and hang it with the wheel just tucked in on the AlphaTauri. He's going to back out sensibly enough through the chicane. Not enough space for two cars. Barely enough space for one down there, as Berger's now going to get another attempt at it coming down this back straight now. DRS active for the Alpine driver, only 5/10 behind the AlphaTauri as Gasmore.
I'm back, sorry. Yeah, it looks like he retired in the pit as I was on the phone with the secretary and technician there, who's not going to show up again apparently. Looks like he spent 2 or 3 times and probably just said to heck with this, you know, and slipped on out of here. So he's our first casualty today.
Indeed he is, although he's coming back out onto the track, even though he is retired. He's left the session inside of the pit lane, goes back out on the track, causing a yellow flag, which is going to really break up the racing. That's not ideal.
Yeah, that's
which is what you're supposed to do, but the game said no, you cannot retire in the pit lane. That brings his racing misery to an end until he finds someone to pull over to on the side of the track. But back to this battle for P2 in this race. Rage Burger coming back at Showbits in a place where he so nearly made the move on that last lap, but wasn't quite able. He was not quite close enough this time around actually. So he's going to have to try again. He's going to try and get a bit closer down through this tight left-hand hairpin. And this is really important. He is a bit closer. He's about a couple of tenths closer actually. As now he'll get DRS. At the moment, DRS active for the Alpine driver. He's 2 tenths behind as DRS active. He's going to pull to the outside, already ahead before they even touch the braking zone. Good move from Berger. Now he's free to try and chase down Matty D, who's already pulled out 2-second gap. Matty.
It looks like F1 Nerd might have bumped D-Hog a little bit a couple times. Just a couple little left taps, but it didn't seem to affect D-Hog too much. F1 Nerd backed off, D-Hog took off, and now he's got about a 2-second advantage on him. So I wonder if F1 Nerd sustained a little bit of wing damage there when he bumped him, but it doesn't look like it. Oh no, he's gaining speed back up. He must have just backed off him for a second to give himself a chance to attack again. Now he's about 0.2 of a second behind. Looking good. The guys are racing hard. And looks like Monster and Sinister are really pushing those hards right now. They're each on about 17 laps on those hard tires, as well as Crew.
Sorry about that, we had a bit of a mic cut out. It's actually completely turned off, which is what we wanted to get.
Oh, we got a 3 wide. Coming around turn 14. No, I take that. Yep, that was turn 11. I take that back. Turn 11. And D-Hog got a warning there for multiple times crossing, invalidating per se. That's going to hurt him because he's just outside the podium right now, and the penalty is not a good time to get one. We're about 2/3 of the way through the race. Plenty of racing left ahead of us.
This race has gone very fast down the inside. Attempting to was Cavales on Mornstar, but that's not going to quite work out for him. It looks like Mornstar dives into the pit lane to try and get a bit of an undercut on his teammate. That's going to promote Cavales up into P7. He's on quite old medium. He's obviously pitting later on in the race there. So Showbits actually has dropped outside the DRS of Berger, which is exactly what he really does want in this session, as he can now try and get that DRS moving maybe a bit and maybe make an overtake towards the end if he saves his tyres, saves his energy.
Monster just got a penalty. The penalties are starting to pile up.
Just look at Q1 6 seconds. Showbits Deacon, Wallace, Simpson Brady and Mornstar 113 seconds respectively. So that will play quite a factor when it does come to the check-in of 10-11 laps time. This Shishi had a bit of, I'm not too sure what happened to him, but he did have a spin. Now he's actually fighting Donmore coming through that turn 11 complex.
And was there contact? Nope. Okay.
Just backed off, slammed on the brakes to allow space for that chicane. Of course, if you do compromise your run through there, you'll cost yourself massively coming down that hit straight. It's actually what he has encountered. He's now got DRS on Donmore. He's quite far back. Could try the mighty dive on that's one I actually did see.
You know, I kind of wonder what would have happened if Kevo started on the mediums, because these last 10 laps on the mediums, he's really moving up the grid there. He's in the points now. He's in the points. He's in 9th place here. But he started off on those softs, and it looked like he wasn't going to make it to the race. And look at him now.
Indeed, and he had a bit of a spin as well, sent him to the back. He's doing a fantastic job so far, really. A few roughly about 9 laps remaining of this race. So then, looking towards the lead, Matty D still holds a very comfortable 1.9 second gap ahead of Berger, who's saving up some ERS to try and prevent from Schoedler, who's been burning that ERS up in the Alpha Tower in the charge to try and gain P2. Before Schoedler now actually does have that 3-second penalty, so I'm sure Berger is not entirely worried as long as he can keep it within the track limits.
Well, surprisingly, Matty D's burning up quite a bit of ERS too. He's down to 16% because he's got such a comfortable lead. You would think he hadn't had to use it as often, but maybe he's had to use it to keep such a comfortable lead. Because right now he's looking great, 9 laps left, and he's got a 1.7 advantage over Berger, who was our pole setter. These guys are really racing their wheels off right here. And when I say guys, when I say guys, that's everyone. That's guys and girls, because we do have ladies represented in our league as well. Like Lady Paige, she's a beast. That lady is no lady, let me tell you. She can certainly drive. Beats the heck out of me as her teammate. So every time I see her out there on the circuit, I'm always rooting for her and watching her improve. She's great.
And Schoedler actually had a bit of a step out in that final corner, and that has dropped him back tenths actually. He's down to about 8 tenths away now on just diving into the pit lane, 20 lap old cars. And I think that's round a big incident at the back there for Kivo. He's around in the Ferrari.
Oh, he's in the wall.
Right end plate, and he's going to have to let every other car pass, or he can get going, and he doesn't quite get going in a straight line. He's going to have to. Oh, Kivo's
oh, Kevo!
Perhaps a disconnect there. He was doing so well. I think a bit of a commentator's curse has hit the Ferrari there. So unless he can reconnect to the session.
Yeah, something weird must have happened, because I think as long as I've raced with him, I've never seen him quit mid-race in the middle of a lap after an accident. That's an aberration. We'll have to hear what we'll have to hear what he says about that sometime later on.
Something else just happened in the turn 11 area. Crew streamers, bit of an incident perhaps was on the Red Bull, Sister Crazy perhaps, or Horn Star. These two have been really battling it out hard, and now they're all fresh opinions for the last few laps. Mediums might not have been the best choice considering there's only 9 laps left. Like F1 Nerd has got on,
is on
might have been slightly more beneficial. It's actually F1 Nerd making the most of those and going around the outside of Domore in the hairpin. A good move from him is now using the DRS to move down the pit straight.
He's chasing Lucifer.
On Lucifer, he's not quite close enough though. When they do come around to it, as now he's going to try and go around the outside. So much more grip on those.
Oh, great move!
With the Williams driver, he's now back down the inside.
Look at Shahid fighting back.
As for coming outside in there, indeed he's fighting back amazingly well to maintain his position. He tries to go down the inside here, does F1 Nerd a beautiful overtake just before the DRS zone. Those softs of course really helping him. Although it might have been a bit of a premature overtake, as DRS is now going to be active for Lucifer Shahid as he can fight back, coming into turn, through turn 10 into 11. Lucifer Shahid is back ahead of the Haas driver. That overtake was fantastic, but perhaps a bit too premature.
Well,
as now he's going to have to make that overtake again.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help. He just made contact. Oh, turn 15, but not that much. It looks like he doesn't have much ERS left. He was down to 5. He's down to about 13% now. Really, this track surprisingly allows you to build your ERS up really quickly. You wouldn't think it would, but it seems to restore really, really fast on this circuit.
Back ahead after they had a bit of an incident through that chicane. Lucifer down to 30%. He's a lot more than what F1 Nerd's got. F1 Nerd really needs to use mechanical advantage his tyres have got. If he wants to make this overtake stick, he's got a yellow in that first sector. That's Kavolic round. These older tyres really starting to catch a few of these drivers out here. He's a few spins in the last few laps. Looks like F1 Nerd is trying to make that overtake stick again. He's going to try to look to that outside, but isn't able to find the space. He is defending for his life, and he is defending amazingly as he's maintaining that position. But F1 Nerd, learning from his previous mistakes, is now going to get the DRS. Although he was actually ahead through the detection points, he might just about not get it again.
It happened again.
He hasn't, it's happened again, just too early on that overtake. He's going to steam past.
Oh, three-way.
Is going to be going down the inside of F1. Not much he can do about that. He drops down to Peter. He's going to still be wheeled, still going to be pushed off the track slightly. He's going to now allow, he's going to try and push Bottle Job past through the hairpin and all contact. And it looks like F1 Nerd made contact yet again with Bottle Job gaining, Bottle Job putting him in the wall slightly, and then a bit of a, almost seems like an angle tap as he cut the corner a bit to give the rear wheel of Bottle Job a bit of contact. He just needs to calm down, F1 Nerd, and just take it easy. He's on the softs, he's got way more grip than the medium compound. Compound Alfa Romeo. He'll easily make that move. He just needs to relax and let it happen. As now look, DRS active for F1 Nerd, so it's also to the Alfa Romeo driver, although F1 Nerd trying to go around the outside, not quite able to find the grip, tries to switch back. He's really all over the back of the Alfa Romeo, trying to find space on the inside or the outside, but he's not quite able to do so far. As F1 Bottle Job is in the DRS, it won't be so catastrophic for F1 Nerd if he makes that overtake earlier on. He's gone wide, and Bottle Job actually has got through.
Cool stream, the fastest lap.
Pretty much pushing him through, and these three DRS.
Oh, there's contact!
Big incident!
Oh my goodness gracious! Bottle Job. Yeah. They raced hard for about 3-4 laps. That might be the end of Bottle. Nope, he's still in it. He's still in it. He looked like he spin, hit the wall, all kind of shenanigans. I couldn't tell whose fault it was by the time I seen it, but I could tell there was a lot of contact.
Yeah, indeed. And Matty D coming into the pit lane for presumably a fresh set of soft. Burger also in. D-Hog in to the pit. These safety car actually came at a fairly decent time, as Philosophy also into the pit lane. This safety car definitely came at a very good time, as it was near when the leaders were, the leaders were actually quite close.
Yeah, we basically have a sprint. We basically.
I think he got stuck and has been disqualified. Unfortunately, he comes out second time in this race.
Why was he disqualified? What did he do? Oh.
F1 Nerd actually might gain from this, as he's only on 4-lap older tyre. With a couple laps on the safety car, he might only have to race about 2 laps. So this safety car might really help his efforts.
Yeah, like I said, you can probably get 10 laps out of those softs from what I've seen. You know, I couldn't get 10 laps out of it, but he might. But he only needs, 4 more, huh? Yeah, he can do a lap salad.
Ooh, looks like Brown is now for tower. On the hard, onto the safety car. Having a little spin there.
Alright. So you think Matty D's going to be able to hold on to this?
Our tyres are even, although they were actually even, to be fair to Matty D, when we were racing towards he was too big down on the tyre. So I think he can, as long as he holds it together, as long as the commentating curse now doesn't hit, he should take the I think he will take the victory. I don't see anybody else having quite the pace he's had in the dry run round.
If I'm not mistaken, he was the Tier 3 champion from last year. Not this particular tier. We now have 4 tiers. Last year we had 3, and he was Tier 3's champion. So he's absolutely used to people talking about him while he races, and it doesn't seem to affect his pace or racecraft.
He's just got to get the safety car restart. Too much perfect. Looks like we can get a safety car restart with about 2 laps to go there. As we've still got to wait for Evo and to heal around. This one looks like Show gets into the pits again. Showbiz is into the pits. I think he's picked up some damage somewhere. The Alcantara driver, is he puts on a new front wing. Very interesting. I'm not sure what's happened there. I'm sure we're going to find out later on. He's achieving getting into pits. Now, Martini versus Berger, the battle for pole, the top two on the grid. Reverse this time, we'll battle it out again in the final couple of laps.
Yep. And I'm curious also to see if Pulaski is going to be able to leapfrog some of these folks with penalties and get on that podium.
I think he could, especially if you get past F1 on those new F1 on the slightly old tyres.
But he races really aggressive. He is not an easy guy to pass. He's not dirty, don't get me wrong. Very clean driver. He just races hard. He is not easy to pass. He's going to make you bring it. That Shahid would know and attest to.
It will be very interesting to see. It's pretty much not even a sprint race. It's pretty much 2 qualifying laps, 100% eRacing for everybody then. And it will just be who takes all no DRS. Because actually you might not even have the safety car in this lap. It depends if Cruise Drifters can make it round in this time. I'm sure he'll be able to.
And this
so
gives,
we might see the final again in the final 2 laps.
and this gives everyone a chance to fill their ERS up as well.
Really playing field as well as it pretty much takes away the management side of the ERS as indeed will get going on 28. Will be laps himself. Laps of races.
I love that AMG.
It will be a lap. So we will only have 2 laps of races.
You know, they need to make it so that the supercars, like that AMG right there, how come we can't race that dang thing?
I think if you bought the premium version of the game,
Oh, really?
you can drive it as but you cannot race the supercars. I feel like that would be quite a fun mode to race supercars or have a safety car driver.
That
would be very
That would be cool. They're going to have to up their game up now with F1 Manager out there. Other people have other options. They really need to give us a few more extra features on here, you know?
Yeah, I think that's sort of being able to play race with supercars and then maybe play as a safety car. That might really help.
What would help us, I think, as commentators, is like, you know, if you play John Madden football or any of these other type of sporting games, you can put the computer on as itself, and then you just watch the game play. How come we always have to be in the car? How come I can't start a race on the track and just commentate? That way you can get more comfortable commentating on certain circuits and not just always have to have live drivers driving. So it's a way to increase both broadcasters and drivers, you would think. You know, because considering there's so many leagues and sim racing is becoming so big, all the major leagues have comms. So you would think that they would start to cater to people who are going to be broadcasting these races a little more. Give us more features, give us more options, let us know more things. Like right now, we can't access the weather. There's no radar and things of that nature for us. So I mean, there's a lot of different things they can do.
Yes, indeed, I'm sure that will be implemented, especially with the resources EA have. As long as they use them right, we will get better games in the future. But it looks like Batty D, has already bolted. It seems to bolt around the final corner of this track, short, straight, definitely playing a bit of a part in that F1 nerd actually already under a bit of pressure from Alonso. Looks like Showbits has got past Mornstar in the AlphaTauri moving on the Red Bull.
Nice put away.
Looks like actually Showbits trying to already go around the outside of Kravolis and trying to go back down the inside of Garbage Man. He's made that one stick. A brilliant set of moves there from Showbits to move up about 3 places in a set of 2 corners. Brilliant work from him to move his AlphaTauri up into P7. We've got a yellow flag.
Alright, Monster's in the points.
He's back down to P14. Now he's pretty much out of it. Matty D almost pulling a 1 second gap already. Fantastic job
Great
from
start.
him.
And Monster, we haven't been able to say his name much. He's been quiet throughout this race, but it's great to see him up in the points right now. Hold on to that. Well, I guess he ain't quite in the points yet because he's got actually about a 2-second lead on Lucifer because he got a 3-second penalty, and he's only up just over a second, just under a second.
Indeed. Got quite the way to go if he wants to stay. And of course, eRacing will not be active. It would be active on lap 30, but not too lap 30. So we have to stick with this final lap. Matty D's the fastest lap of the race. He begins his final lap of the race, and look at this, Berger and D-Hog very close together. This will be a battle to look out for that final podium position, although actually Berger, without a penalty, pretty much secured that P2 spot. But he's got to be careful. Should a little tap come from the front from D-Hog, it could be all over for Berger, and he could actually end up far outside the points. Polowski actually already passed. Oh no, very close to contact between him and F1 Nerd coming through the left-hander just before the start of the second sector. He's already got past him though. Now F1 Nerd under huge pressure from Showbits behind in the AlphaTauri. He's making up huge gains on this final lap. Showbits looks to try and go down the inside of F1 Nerd. Looks like he's already made that move done. F1 Nerd's going to try and fight it back around the outside. He's regained that position, and simply as it looks like actually Garbage Man also fighting with teammates.
Ooh, there's contact between Joe and F1 Nerd.
Indeed, further back then, but they're still losing. He takes a 3-second time penalty, and we're seeing yellow flags wait in that toll back to green flags. Because actually no, Dom was round and is out of the points, back down to P14 then. So through the final corner comes Matty D to win an eventful and brilliant Miami GP. He led from
over
the
a second and a half. Wow.
A brilliant victory.
Masterclass.
Takes the podium away from D-Hog with that penalty. F1 Nerd is a 20-second time penalty for another serve drive-through. So all that battling has just pretty much demoted him. And Showbits on that final lap. Brilliant stuff from him.
Absolutely.
To get up all those places. He did a fantastic job on that last lap. Driver of the day for me.
I gotta go Matty D. I mean, from start to finish, he absolutely dominated the race, and really, his dominance was never in question. Other than taking pole, what didn't he do? I know Garbage Man made up 14 spots. That is beyond significant. And especially lap 1, he really got up there and put some pressure on folks. But the way Matty just got up there at the beginning of the race, got the lead, maintained the lead. Yeah, it was mouse class to me. So we got Matty D, Berger, Polowski to round up our pole, round up our podium positions, and we got D-Hog to hold Simpster Crazy, Garbage Man, Crew Steamers, Lucifer Shaheed, and Kevo rounding out our points. Then we got Cavalas, Don Moore, Monster, and F1 Nerd, and our final from our final position today.
Indeed. So I think the interviews should be coming through soon. Just got to fight.
And Pulaski really went for it there, that last lap. He really had to fight it out with F1 nerd to see who would kind of get the upper head in the position they had. And it seemed from that point on, he held true to form. And where did F1 get? F1 finished way down there, huh? 14? Surprising.
Yeah, he's 22nd penalty for drive-through.
Should we just invite him to the party?
Yes.
Okay, who we got here? Let's see here. Okay. Okay. I've got Maddie. I sent one to. Yeah, absolutely, and especially you. I mean, you're Brocky. You say this is the second time you did this? Are you kidding me? You sound like you should be on NBC somewhere. No, thank you.
I've done a few films in the past, but this is my second one for the prospects.
Okay.
And it's been fantastic. And hopefully next time I can get graphics.
Yeah, because I'm in total awe of you, sir. Okay, I was able to send one to Pulaski. I don't have Matty D. I don't have Matty D's as my friend. Okay, oh, Matty D just sent me a friend request. Perfect. Thank you, Maddie. Accepting your friendship, and then I'm gonna send you an invite to the party to the party now.
Yes, we will. We have some podium interviews.
Can you send him an invite? Do you have his? Are you friends? Let me see what his exact username is here.
Matty D, can you hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear, boys.
Hey, congratulations on a masterclass race, sir. You really put it down out there.
It was a shock of us today.
It seemed like you got more and more comfortable as the race went on. It was almost like you were learning the track in the early stages, and then after that, you kind of got your sea legs under you and just took off, man.
Sector 1 and 2 was alright. I just couldn't get behind the sector 3. That was where I was losing the most time.
How do you compare it to other street circuits like Singapore and Monaco?
This track is a lot smoother. It's got a nice flow to it.
You think it's one that it's going to take people a while to get, or either you get it or you don't?
Yeah, there's no tracks where you just got to learn it as you go.
Yeah, because typically I don't, I use like corners only if I drive, but with this one here, when I'm practicing by myself, man, sometimes I put the whole racing line on, like, where the heck am I? And I still find myself adjusting too late, swinging the wheel, trying to catch it, and like, man, when I watch you out there, you're just really smooth. Everything is almost like one motion, man. How much time a day do you put in your practice?
I actually practice this.
Wow. Wow.
Party, well done, a good performance from today. Unable to snatch the win after a fantastic pole position, but still P2 must be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm looking for the start.
You do like the track?
No, I don't like the track. I don't like myself.
Yeah, I'm yet to actually come across a single person who likes this track, myself included. I don't think it's because it's a new track. It's typically we get new tracks, we're excited, we're like, hey, you know, I remember when they finally gave us Zandvoort, it was like, oh, Zandvoort, you know. But this one here, it seems to be a little, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute. It's going to be almost an acquired taste, like sour candy.
Yeah.
I do like sour candy, though. And Matty D, if I'm not mistaken, you won our Tier 3 championship last year, didn't you?
No, I was in Tier 2 last year.
Oh, Tier 2. Did you win the championship?
No, I got promoted, unfortunately.
What? Oh, I had it all backwards. I'm sorry. I had it all... Well, you know how these tiers are, and you know it's weird because, like I said, when I first started with prospects, I was tier 1. Well, that was season 1. So now season 7, I'm tier 4, and we've got 3 other platforms, right? So we keep growing. But you know, the funny thing is, I'm a much faster driver than I've ever been, but I'm much slower compared to how I look in the league. So for you to even still be at this pace and going even faster, winning races, man, every time you win a race, it's commendable because these got some serious people out there coming for you, you know.
It's a real comeback from last week. Being there last 1 or 2, it's a really good comeback.
Did that have anything to do with why you didn't practice this week because of the frustration of practicing so much and being wiped out DNF in lap 1?
Last week it just wasn't on track.
That was Japan, right?
Yeah, wasn't on this track.
Yeah, that could be a tricky track, especially that first section.
Oh yeah, go for the aspect is
Brutal. So what is the key to this track here? Because I race tomorrow. What can you tell me to make me not be P20?
I mean, what wings do you run on this track?
I believe is it 1010? It might be 1010. I use I think I've been using Crew Steamer setup, and I believe it might be 1010 on front and back.
I run 5.
Pipe in the front, 10 in the back.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. It looks like to you the basement pipe minute. Okay, it looks like the heating refrigerator guy that I've been waiting for 2 to 3 weeks is finally about to be in my garage in the next 5 minutes. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off of this line and get with this guy, but it's been an absolute pleasure both working with you, Solid, and watching you gentlemen, Burger and Matty G drive. Sorry Pulaski couldn't be here, but I really enjoyed him as well. Just this whole tier, this whole league is like an extended family to me. My whole family enjoys it every week. We look forward to you guys, just like a Grand Prix races in the real life. But I'm gonna get out of the way, but thank you for letting me be involved in the broadcast.
Thank you very much, boss. It's been great help. See you today. I think we can end the stream there. Thank you so much for watching. Massive appreciation to podium.
Hey, don't forget about Tier 3 tomorrow. Tier 4, I'm sorry, Tier 4 tomorrow and the Academy on Friday. The Academy on Friday, and if I'm not mistaken, GT7 on Friday as well. But we got races all week long, so just stay tuned. We're coming back. All right, bye-bye.
Goodbye, guys. Oh, man, I'm tired.
Well, I'm off for the night, lads. Well done on the comms.